Name is Katie Woodrick. I am the founder of Make Media Over, as well as Rising Tide Talents, and I am passionate about helping you earn real revenue from your ideas and from your products. And this is a little bit of an impromptu live. It's a look over my shoulder as I actually apply my own revenue tracking and my own forecasting for my business to a new tool that I am actually going to be sharing with all of you in the coming days and weeks. It is a revenue tracker that helps me set my goals and, more importantly, helps me see where my gaps are and then fill those gaps as I seek to grow my business on an annual basis, but then break it into bite-sized chunks quarterly and monthly. So I'm going to take you again. This will be a fairly quick tour through this product. And in full transparency, this product is under development right now. So if you are interested in getting on the waiting list and hearing about the beta access, which will be launching very, very soon, you can actually go to risingtidetalents.com/revenue tracker. I've put it up here on the screen just very briefly. Stick your name, stick your information in, and everybody on this waiting list will have an opportunity to get early access to this product, as well as a discounted rate. And the only way to secure that discounted rate is by getting on the waiting list now. So risingtidetalents.com/revenue tracker. Okay, that's the end of my sales pitch for now. I really just wanted to kind of work on this myself, and I figured it might be helpful for you to look at some of the ways in which I run my businesses. I also do want to share that this technique and this process applies to businesses of all types and all sizes. I have used this for my own service and product-based business for years. And I've also applied it as I have worked with companies and founders who are growing into 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure businesses. So this tool, this process, don't get fooled by the fact that it's a spreadsheet. Don't get fooled by how simple this calculator is. This is intended to be a tool for you to feel more in control of your business and your opportunity to grow and make real revenue while running the business the way that you want. So you'll see as I go through my application, one of the things I focus on is how few hours I want to commit to working on client work in any given month. That's a priority for me to have the right mental headspace, the opportunity to do pro bono and volunteer work, to take naps, to spend time with my family in kind of normal working hours, and also to be able to do my job well when I am working with these upper level clients. So you can see here the top, which actually doesn't factor into the calculator, is really just to help you understand. I find that for many people, myself included, it can be quite overwhelming to think about how am I going to gross my annual revenue if I don't know what has to happen each month or each quarter. I think about it month to month, and this allows me to see where I maybe am falling short at any given point in the month, but really feel empowered to make that gap up by adding more hours, by considering increasing my rate for additional upper level strategies, for launching or selling more of a product or a service that I have. So let's start with the better column. My approach to goal setting is always the better is kind of where I actually want to be. Good is either break even or good is no growth month to month, but this is going to at least kind of keep me in stasis or in maintenance. What I don't want to do is fall behind unless there is some unexpected event, which we can touch on. And I do get into as I roll this tracker out for you to use on your own business. The best goal is your reach goal. I would love for you to hit your best goal fairly frequently. But if and when that happens, if you find yourself exceeding your better goal and hitting your best goal routinely, it's time to shuffle your goals. It's time to set a new reach goal and establish that best goal as your new better. I think that will become more clear as I actually put this into action. So let's stop talking. Let's get to work. If I wanted to start with my better goal, let's just say, and don't be tricked by these numbers. I'm going to put in some numbers just to demonstrate. But if your numbers are far short of this, if your numbers are far exceeding this, know that the entire point of this calculator is to let you run your business with authority and to feel confident in it. So these numbers should not fool you. I have used this on clients whose entire goal is to gross $20,000 a year, as well as clients who would like to gross 7, 8 figures and up. So just for argument's sake, let's say that my better goal is 150,000. Add one more zero to that. And so you can see what this calculator has done at the top is it's broken that down for me into chunks. 150,000, if that's seen, and this is gross revenue. I want to be very clear. This calculator right now doesn't incorporate net. So I am thinking about what is my gross revenue goal. Using 150,000 a year in January, as I record this, that can be overwhelming. I don't know exactly what I need to do in January, February, March to stay on track for that goal. And if you're like me, you will sort of let that big number get into your head. And again, more importantly, you won't know if you're falling short and how to make that gap up. So I find it much easier to say, okay, if my goal is to gross $150,000 in my annual business revenue, what that means is it's a monthly goal of $12,500. Okay. And from there, the rest of it, I think, should be fairly straightforward. There are a few variables that you can play around with. And ultimately, we do this for good and best. I'm going to start with the better column because if that's all you did, if the rest of it is too overwhelming, the better column is where you can live for a while. The things that are variable that you can adjust if you want to grow more revenue, you can increase your hourly rate, you can increase the number of hours that you work, and you can add in additional products and services or packages. So the whole point of this calculator, by the way, is because I'm not great at math. I'm not great at in my head saying, okay, if I know my hourly rate is X and I want to work this many hours a month, I can't in my head know if that's actually getting me to where I want to go. So this is just kind of setting the goal. There's an actuals tab that I won't spend a lot of time on today, but the actuals tab is where you can track as you're going. So every time you bring in revenue, every time you bank that business, you'll update your actuals tab. And so you can see any given day in the month, whether you are on track to hit your monthly goal or whether you have fallen behind. So again, let's just say for this, again, I'm throwing in some numbers. If they don't apply to you, that's fine. And again, I'm going to stick with the better column because all I'm working on right now is that better column. Some of you may have the same hourly rate, good, better, best, and you're just, that's my rate. And so then these three numbers might all be the same. You might have sort of the rate that you're charging now, the rate that you want to charge. You'll see all of that come into play here as you look over my shoulder. But let's just say for an example that my hourly rate is $80. Okay. And that might be a blended rate. There might be projects that you charge more for, projects that you charge less for. That's a great area to put down here into items per month if you are selling on packages and not an hourly rate. But if I come in here, this is where I'll start to play. So I'm going to fill in the monthly hours. Let's just say for right now, my goal is to work 120 hours a month. Okay, 120 hours a month is my goal. And I've set over on this column that my monthly, or my hourly rate is $80. So I've filled this in. Essentially what this calculator does is it multiplies the 120 hours by $80 an hour, and it tells me where I am. Okay, if I do nothing else, and if I sell out 120 billable hours a month at the rate of $80, then what I'll do is I will gross $115,000 a year or $9,600 a month. That doesn't get me where I need to go. So the calculator tells you that. The calculator tells you right now with what I've plugged in, I am grossing $115,000 and I'm $34,000 short annually of my goal. Okay, how can I make up for that? Well, one thing I could do if I don't think I can raise my rates, if I feel like that's what the market value of my services are, I might need to add in more hours. So what happens if I work 140 hours? So I've had to add more hours, more billable hours. I have 140 hours still at $80. Again, I'm coming closer. So I am at that point grossing $134,000, $400 a year, but I'm still about $15,000 short. Okay. Option one, if I don't have any products, anything else that I can sell, now I just need to get real with myself. Am I comfortable adding on to the number of hours? And you can see I have to play around with it. So, it's about 155 hours. 160 is like maxed out, all that you can work in a month. If you were completely sold out, didn't take lunch breaks, worked 8-hour days. Or if you're, in that hustle mode, if you're in that startup or growth mode, you might have to be prepared to do more than 160 hours a month. I want you to just see how this empowers you to make smart decisions and to know where you stand. So if I'm willing to work 160 hours a month at $80 an hour and I'm fully booked, I book every single hour that I'm available, then I'm going to gross $153,000 a year. That's exceeded my goal. Great. Now, what happens if I don't want to work that number of hours? And I personally don't. Again, let's now say, okay, I'm not willing to change the number of hours that I'm working. I am solid. I am only willing to work 120 hours a month. Well, option one, again, is can I increase my rate? I want you to be smart about this. I don't want you to just say, I need to make this amount of money, so I'm going to charge $200 an hour. The market is going to tell you, your clients are going to tell you whether you are able to bring in that hourly rate. Now, I believe in you, and I believe that if you work hard and you market yourself and you're smart about how you build your business, you can set a very high hourly rate for your services. Let's play around and see what happens if I move that to $100 an hour. Look at that. If I want to work 120 hours a month and I can charge $100 an hour, and again, I'm fully booked. If I book 120 hours of work, I'm almost there. I'm only $6,000 short. So the next option would be to say, okay, instead of 120 hours, I'm just going to have to work 125. Okay, I can do that. I don't want to launch any products. I don't want to launch any services. This is what it is. Great. Like, I'm there. I've hit my goal. Here's where I want to give you some alternatives. Let's go back to the scenario where you are working 120 hours and you just know your market. Like, you are at a point with your service or with your client base or with your market where $80 an hour, fully booked at 120 hours a month, that's your best case scenario. You don't feel like you can increase your rates and you're not willing to increase your hours. Okay, here's what we're going to do, because I'm not willing to let you lower your goal at this point. You'll have a good goal column over here, so you'll kind of know what is my absolute worst case scenario if I hit that good goal. But I want to now empower you to start thinking about some additional products that you can layer in that might be more passive, right? So let's just say, for example, you have a $19 ebook. I'm putting this over in the items per month column. So now I'm in the products, and you have a $49 course and you have a $99 something. Okay. And remember, you might not have these in your first month, but I want you to start thinking about how you can increase or meet those goals and where you can fill in the gap. So if you're tracking behind 120 hours, it's midway through the month and you have only booked 110 hours. Of course, I'm going to encourage you to try to fill that gap by getting 10 more hours booked. But if you can't, I want you to know where the Tetris pieces live so that you can fill that gap in and make your revenue goal. So let's start calculating. What happens if I sell 10 of those $19 products? Okay, that's brought in some more, and you can see down here, the calculator actually blocks it out by services and products. So you can know how much you are looking to bring in your service-based business, and then how much you need to add on or can add on with products. And so I'm going to sell 10 of my ebooks. I'm going to sell 5 of my $49 courses, and then I'm going to sell 10 of my $99 courses. Okay, I'm still not there, but I'm getting closer. I'm starting to chip away. So now I just want you to play around. 120 is my goal, but what happens if I bump that to 125? Maybe I am flexible this month, or maybe I am flexible as I'm getting started. Move that up by 5 hours. Instead of selling 5 of these $49 courses, I'm going to sell 10. And instead of selling 10 $99 courses, I'm going to sell 15. And maybe I'm going to have to bump up this ebook. So I do this. I mean, you're seeing in real time, you're looking over my shoulder as I start to figure out what do I actually need to do to hit my goals. So there we go. This is another scenario that I can give myself. If I am willing to work 125 hours at an $80 an hour rate, and I have these 3 products, and I am willing, or I have the systems and the mechanics to sell these. Some of you may be absolutely killer on product sales, or you may have such a great system, it's just passive revenue. And you know that based on your marketing or your sales or your systems, you're just going to sell these products out. Maybe you're actually selling more products. If you are looking to decrease your number of service-based hours and increase the amount of passive revenue that comes in, now you know exactly what you have to do. So you're using this as a calculator. What I find really helpful is that in the next step, which we're not going to cover, this is just a quick look over my shoulder on how I start to use this tracker, which again will be available to you if you're on the wait list. I will be releasing it very, very soon. If you are tracking your actual goals, so each day or each week, if you're balancing your books and you see that you're short, again, you don't have the hours booked that you need, you are falling short on your products, you will know in any given day. You will wake up and you will walk into your office or your workspace that given day and you will say, I understand what I need to do to meet my goals. That might mean that I have to put out a call to book my services. I have 5 hours of service-based work available this month. Maybe you need to hustle, and instead of selling 20 of your $19 ebooks, you need to set a goal of 50, and you need to really think about that marketing plan. What I want is for you to feel in control. What I want is for you to know where the Tetris pieces can move. What I don't want is for you to get to the end of the month and realize that you fell short. I don't want you to get to the end of the quarter, or worse, to get to the end of your year, be balancing your books and realize, if I had just sold 5 more ebooks every month, or if I had increased my hourly rate from 80 to 85, or if I had done X, Y, and Z, I would have hit my goal. I don't want you to be disappointed on December 30th as you're balancing your books for the year and realize that you fell short of your goals, and it's because you didn't know how to fill in that gap. So I hope this has been somewhat helpful. Again, what I find is really effective here is to do the better column. The better is where I want to live, right? So you could play with these numbers all day. Play with your goals, play with your hourly rate, play with the number of hours that you want to work, and play with the number of digital products or passive revenue opportunities that you have. Do the same thing for good and best. As you get more used to this tool, this will be a 5-minute exercise. I've spent more time talking about it today than I will spend on this throughout my entire month. I often set this at the beginning of the month, or even do this once a quarter. And then where I spend my time is tracking my actual revenue. So again, it's January 19th as I record this. I know exactly where I am on my books. I know if I'm ahead for the month, which by the way is great, but I don't let that slow me down, because you never know what will happen in your business. You never know if a client will walk away or a product will stop selling. So when I am exceeding my goal, I just pat myself on the back and keep on going. If I am behind on my goal, this tool means that I do not panic. I know exactly how much I need to make up, and I know all of the ways in which I can make that up. And if I have to get creative, if I have to do a flash sale on a product, if I have to reach out to previous clients, if I have to this month say, yeah, 125 at $80 an hour, that's really where I want to be. But in order to make my goal, I just have to be willing to work 10 more hours this month. I'm just going to do the grind. I'm just going to suck it up. Or I'm going to increase my rate next month to make up for it. I feel like the market is there. Maybe I've been a little hesitant to raise my rates. Now, as I bring on new clients, I'm going to increase from 80 to 85. It makes a huge difference. If I were to do this right now, increase it from 80 to 85, look what happens. My services, which were at $120,000 a year, goes to $127,500. So by raising my rate $5 an hour and working 125 hours, I've now gone up by $7,500 a year. That's a significant growth for this. If I raise my rate to 85, maybe it gives me the opportunity to go back to working 120 hours. It does. So you will be able to say, I am unwilling to bend on my hours, so I need to consider increasing my rates or adding on products. I'm unwilling to raise my rates. It's just not there. My clients don't want it. I can't support it. At this point, I can't justify raising my rates. Okay, that's fine. I'm either going to have to work more hours and book them. I need to make sure every month that I have fully booked. I need to be thinking about my pipeline. I need to be thinking right now, what does February and March look like? Have I fully booked those 120 hours? If not, what do I have? Who could I reach out to book that now? And if it's still not reaching my goal, if my goal is not 100, what if it's 200,000? Now I'm $46,000 short, so I better start thinking about another product. Maybe it's a $299 product. Maybe it's some upper level high-end product. And if I sell 10 of those a month, it makes a huge difference. I hope that's been helpful. I know it's a lot of Firehose information. I know that if you're not a spreadsheet or a calculator person, this might seem super overwhelming. Anybody who's on the wait list or as this product is released and purchases this product, which by the way, I'm going to keep extremely conservative on the price because I am so passionate about this tool and this process for business owners like you or people who are considering launching a business. I will be providing a tutorial, a more in-depth tutorial about how to use that, as well as how to balance the actuals tab so that you're tracking that revenue as it's coming in, not just forecasting and setting goals, but actually seeing where you are in any given day. All of that will be provided to you with the tracker. And of course, you'll also be able to reach out to me for additional support, or if you are totally lost and you need additional help looking for those opportunities to grow your business, this is what I do. This is what I'm here for. I want you, again, to generate and earn real revenue from your ideas, from your services, and from your products. And I know you can do it. I hope this has been helpful. I would love to get this into your hands. So make sure that you are on the waiting list and look for that communication very soon as we release this product. Thank you so much. It is always a pleasure to connect with you guys. Thanks for looking over my shoulder in this kind of impromptu live, and look forward to hearing